Hello, here I am, driving in the dark. I have just picked up the new acquisition, and it's not a Rover, and it's not a petrol either, it's a diesel. And I'm promised that it's going to be just a bit on the pokey side. Obviously I'm going to leave you guessing as to what it actually is. So the clues are here. You can see it's dark inside, there's headrests, it's got 4 electric windows, and it's a diesel. What could it be? Eh? What could possibly tempt me? Another clue is the interior is rather understated. I'm taking things out of the comfort zone somewhat by buying this car, because it's not what we normally do. But I'm thinking that it's the kind of car that more people would buy, although it's a similar kind of age to the cars that we buy ourselves. However, it's important that I like this car, because if things don't work out, I'll end up having to keep it and pay for it, and that's not the plan. No. This car has been bought from the Boosty Boys. What a haunting image. When I look at the town hall clock there from this angle, it just reminds me of a cat. One thing I know for sure, Boaty is going to hate this car. He really is. This is just the kind of thing that is just going to roll his eyes, is going to look so disappointingly. But it's not all about cars that we like or cars that he wants himself. It's about us becoming less poor. That's the idea, and I think cars like this can help us become less poor, because people want them, and they want them because they are actually very good, and in other ways they're quite tedious. Well, ladies and gentle bobbies, it is time to reveal the car. It's a Mark IV Golf, commonly considered as one of the most uninteresting cars you can buy, but also one of the most popular. You know that thing that happens when you acquire a car, suddenly you notice loads of them about? Well, you don't have to acquire one of these to notice that there are loads of them still about. There really are loads of them still about. And that's basically because as dull as they are actually a very well put together car. They suffer from a few minor issues, of course. The main one is being a bit dull to look at. Now, the reason for buying this was to branch out somewhat, not to be stuck with just Rover. Although at the moment I'm not struggling to find them, but I am struggling to sell them. You see, the trouble is, cars like these are going up in value, but there are still more cars about than people that want to buy them, with the exception of this one. And for those of you that want to see Project Nigel flourish, you're going to have to understand that I can't do it just by making videos and selling Rovers. I've got to have something else in the yard from time to time, the kind of thing that people do want to buy. So the question is, what do I really think of the Mark IV Golf? Well, I think they're a perfectly acceptable everyday car, and these Golfs were kind of what can I say about it that doesn't sound really boring? I can't think of anything to say about it. This one, however, was supplied by a chap who we've had dealings with before. Yes, a very good chap by the name of Daniel and his brother who do some rather good work on cars. So we need a name for this car called Betty, don't we? Betty? Well, I mean, that just came out whilst I was thinking about, it needs a name. So yeah, there we go, Betty. Not Betty Blue, no, but just Betty. Gosh, I don't know, it's almost as bad as Doris. Betty is a 1.9 turbo diesel, the PD engine, of course, and it runs very, very well indeed. That's down to it all being fixed up engine-wise over the past week, because Daniel had a little problem with the previous turbo giving up on it. So he's acquired another turbo and another intercooler and a whole load of other bits to go with this car. This should be what Golfs are. Just quite dependable. Dependable. Unless your eyes have been replaced by radishes, you'll probably have spotted that both front wings are an odd colour. And that is quite simply because they rot. They rot under here. They have a dirt trap and they rot really, really badly. And so they've had to be replaced, but with new ones. New wings, yes. But that's not a problem for me because I can paint them. Betty is, of course, a project. It can go pretty much out the yard straight away, but I do want to add some value to it by spraying the wings, of course, and just, proving it. Hopefully I'll get Carl to have a good look over this at the weekend, because he is, after all, a Vauxhall man. Or is it Volkswagen? I'm not getting mixed up really. So currently the inside does want quite a good clean up. Look, it's got GTI seats as well. Recaro GTI seats. Of course, because it's not a Rover, the headlining isn't sagging either. The interior is all pretty much all together, most of it, and it's got an aftermarket stereo, and I cannot fathom how you switch this on, which is typical of me really. 197,000 miles, which is pretty high. But does it matter? Yeah, I suppose it does to some people. The door's all open, which is good. And then here is the engine. Yes, the 1.9 turbo diesel engine, which has, I believe, had a couple of little changes to it. There's the boot, which is actually quite clean. It's got a couple of bits. There's a latch there, fuel filter, seat belt that needs kind of reattaching. Yeah, oh, it's got a light as well. Yeah, it's not bad. That's okay. Make sure I've got my key in my pocket. The only other thing to report would be that this window's not going down, and neither is that one. But it does go down with the lazy lock-in system, which is rather weird. Anyway, that's probably all we have time for today on Betty Does Pontefract, and there will be another exciting episode with this car quite soon. Bye bye.